Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma Elgato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
We just witnessed Merab Dvalishvili sunning Suga Sean O'Malley to defend the bantamweight title at UFC 316. Let's talk about it.
So, once again, we were right. If you guys go back and watch our pre-fight video, you guys will note that we had said if Suga Sean stood a chance, he absolutely needed to win before the second round. And what happened? He lost in the third. And here's the thing. Sean really has most of his power in the first round, obviously, and some of the second round. But if you guys watch even the first round, Merab put it on him early. Don't get me wrong. First round, Suga Sean was having some decent hits here and there in the first half of the first round. Getting some good work in with the striking. A little bit to the body, a little bit upstairs. He was doing okay. Second half of the first round, that changed. Merab was dragging him into deep water, smothering him, all that good stuff. And the second round, it was all Merab. And third round, it was all Merab right up until the submission. Now, there's a number of things you could say about this. As he said, man, there's a viral picture going around where basically Merab has Suga Sean on his shoulder and basically slamming him down. Despite all the stuff that Suga Sean was saying, that he was laying off drinking the peen, despite the fact that he wasn't going to be on social media as much, he was getting in all the training for a full year, so on and so forth, no smashing his lady, all that stuff, he got beat even worse than he did in the first fight. And you know what? I think this kind of brings to full light what Suga Sean is dealing with. And unfortunately, he was just never that guy. Yes, Suga Sean does have some striking. And yes, if you guys watch most of the highlights are from lower tier, with a couple exceptions. For example, Aljamain Sterling. But lower tier fighters where he was getting those, one punch walk away highlights. And unfortunately, that's just not Merab, man. Merab has taken a full direct punch from Suga Sean a couple times now. And he ate the punch. Sure, in some cases, that stunned him a little bit. Not to take away from Suga Sean's power, but when you put these, I don't want to call them a hype job, but when you put these people that have the hype train behind them up against true talent, it really tests their mettle. And unfortunately for Suga Sean, he's lost twice now. To be honest with you, he shouldn't have even got this shot because he was coming off of a loss. But here we are discussing the fight, what happened, and all that good stuff. So listen, at this point, I don't want to see a Suga Sean versus Merab 3. I don't think any of us do. I think Merab winning the first one, UD, and then winning this one, submission. And again, even if you guys were watching the fight, you would see the little things that they bring up in the corner. Different people, different fighters are basically giving their take on the fight. Everybody had Merab winning all 3 rounds before, of course, the submission. So it just Suga Sean just can't be Merab. He's got his number. Let's move on. Before we jumped on the podcast here, my man was actually bringing a couple things to my attention about what might be next for Suga Sean. But before we get into that, what do you think about what happened last time, my man?
It was an absolute astonishing exhibition, and to be honest, it's going to be another one for the highlight reel for Merab Dvalishvili. Unfortunately for Suga Sean didn't really prove anything to be of a competition for Merab. Again, on a five streak at the very least, Merab is in aura farming the entire time. Winning against Petr Yan, winning against Henry Cejudo, winning against Sean, winning against Umar Nurmagomedov, winning against Sean once again, and even better the first time around. This man is not only on a 5-fight streak, but he has been aura farming every single fight of the way through. And look, pay attention to what happened in the first 2 rounds, because officially, Suga Sean did actually defend 5 of the takedowns by Merab. That's on record, and again, if that's the judges how they scored it, it's fair to say he at least took down 5 of those rounds. Unfortunately, the story of the actual fight itself tells a different tale than what the judges officially scored. Every single one of those takedowns that Suga Sean successfully defended by Merab, which again, by all accounts, they were successfully defended. if you look at how Sean was defending them, not only did he defend them very awkwardly, but every single time that he was struggling on Merab grappling him against the cage, he always had very awkward footing. It was either back mostly against the cage and basically dancing on his heels. If it was on the ground, he was having most of his pressure on his upper back and not relying on his lower hips. And even there was one occasion where he basically had Sean crunched up against the cage, sit-up style. And my point that I want to illustrate is that the tale that I said, again, in our initial fight analysis, was that Merab was gonna wrestle this man. He was gonna take him down. He was gonna clinch him, and he was gonna do everything he can to pressure this man, not only with grapples, but make sure that his gas tank was gonna be depleted. And when you're in awkward situations like that, always being on a toe, on your heels, in awkward positions like that, that expends a lot of energy. A lot of energy. What we said about him not being able to finish Merab by the second round was going to cost him dividends. We told you how it was going to happen, and we were absolutely right about that. Merab played an absolute phenomenal game plan, tripping up Suga Sean O'Malley. And again, the big question is for Suga Sean is, where does he go next? Does he go to featherweight or does he go to lightweight? I would argue there's one more possibility that I think is happening that we're overlooking. Merab versus Suga Sean 3, subtitle, I promise you guys, he is undefeated this time. But what do you think about my analysis?
Yeah, man, I think you're pretty much straight on the button as far as what you said. I honestly don't think there wasn't a whole lot of want for this fight. I saw plenty of people saying, why is this man getting a shot, given he was coming off a loss to Merab? There was literally no point for this one. But listen, now that we got the rematch, and now that Suga Sean lost again, we don't need to see anything. You know, he not even the back of the line at this point. The same way that I've said about other fights that I really don't want to see a third one. Listen, I'm a big fan of Robert Whittaker, but do I want to see him against Izzy again? Not really. You know, he had his 2 shots at Izzy, lost both times. Why would I want to watch the third one? And again, I'm a Robert Whittaker fan. So I think at this point, nobody wants to see a third fight between him and Rob. To be honest with you, I don't think much of a difference would happen. So I think we can all move on from that. As far as what Suga Sean does next, listen, man, the only thing that I was talking to my bro here about before before we jumped on the podcast is he can move up. Sure, he can face Volk. I think it would be a tough ask for him to beat Volk. Not to say that he can't do it. Volk's getting older. We've all seen that Volk can clearly be stopped by a big puncher. He got stopped by Ilya Tuporia. So Sean can maybe do the same. I don't think Sean punches as hard as Ilya, but Sean is known as a big striker, so maybe he can get that done. It's not impossible. It's definitely something where Suga Sean can farm some aura from, because even though Volk is getting older and, you know, Volk's been stopped now a couple times, he's still Volk. You know, he's still Volkanovski, so it'd be difficult to just immediately write him off. But you never know. That's personally what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to move on up, fight Volk. If he stays at his current weight, sure, you know, there's some people that he could fight and beat them. But again, even if he beats everybody in the division, are we going to get another fight against Merab? It just doesn't make any real sense, if I'm being honest. I think in order to get his order back, I think it would make sense for Suga Sean to move on up, fight Volk, if he can get that fight. And again, if he was able to beat Volk, it's a notable name on your record. Even though, again, Volk is old, Volk's been knocked down by a power puncher, so on and so forth. So it's possible for him to do that. I don't know if that's what he's going to do. Honestly, the fight just happened yesterday, so who knows what's really going to come of this. I do think this is a shot in the ego for Sean, because I think he really thought that this was his time and clearly proved it's not. But what do you think's next for Suga Sean, my man?
Again, I personally am of the opinion, if we're going to be absolutely real this time, I do think it's definitely going to be a likely scenario that he's probably going to, at least to get the ego back a little bit, I think he might move down to strawweight to fight Alexander Pantoja. I do think that it would be a better match for him. I do think Alexander Volkanovski would definitely be more of an ask. I do think, at the very least, it's a 50-50 if he goes up against Volk. But you know what? That's a lie. I think it'd be a 60-40 if I'm going to be completely fair. I do think it's going to be a 60% for Volk and 40 for Sean. I don't think it's impossible, but I do think, like you said, it's going to be a higher ask of him. Like, if he can't take care of bantamweight, what's the expectation if he's going to get the job done at featherweight? So I do think if he wants to get the ego back, especially if he wants to be, you know, the Sugar Show once again, get some aura back, get his lick back, I do think the likelier scenario is he's going to move down to strawweight and fight against Alexander Pantoja. We already know he's got Dana White privilege. We already know he's like, if he asked, hey, can I fight strawweight, even though I'm already 2 losses in, Dana would be like, oh yeah, absolutely, go right ahead, champ. I do think that'd be likelier scenario. I guess the big thing, would be the big question is, would his ego be able to handle saying, well, I can't get the job done it this way, I'm going to have to lower the difficulty a little bit and go down the strawweight. I think his pride might cause him to go to featherweight, but I do think if we're gonna be real, to get my lick back, I need to go down to strawweight.
Yeah, man, I don't know if he can make the weight, but hey, look, listen, you never know. It's an interesting game. I'll be honest with you, I think there's not much additional weight Suga Sean can lose. But again, you never know. Especially, when it comes to your ego, sometimes you can't let that shit go. So unfortunately, you make stupid decisions. But it is what it is, man. We'll see what happens. Again, I just don't want to see a Suga Sean versus Merab 3. I don't want to hear any excuses on why the fight should be made. First, UD, then submission. All that's left for Merab to do is knock him out. So again, let's not see this. I really hope we can all just agree on this one. Pretty much like we all agreed on this second one not happening. But we'll see what happens. Give Sean a little bit of time to recoup. Give Sean a little bit of time to get some mental clarity to see what he wants to do next, and we'll see what happens. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.